Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we're talking about a player whose name is exploding across headlines, locker rooms, and social media timelines. James Pearce Jr., and when people say he's on fire, they are not exaggerating. Defensive coordinators are redesigning schemes, quarterbacks are speeding up their releases, and defensive lines are double-checking assignments every single snap. All because this one defender is changing the rhythm of games almost by himself. Let's set the scene. Coming into the season, analysts already knew Pearce Jr. had elite physical tools, explosiveness off the edge, rare bend around tackles, and the kind of closing speed that turns near misses into highlight sacks. But what we're seeing now is something beyond athleticism. We're watching the evolution of a complete defensive weapon, someone who is combining speed, timing, awareness, and tactical intelligence in a way that offenses simply aren't prepared for. In the most recent matchup, the opening quarter told you everything you needed to know. On the very first defensive series, Pearce Jr. lined up wide on the edge, almost daring the offensive tackle to overcommit. At the snap, he exploded forward, forced the tackle to kick back quickly, then hit a sudden inside swim move that left the blocker frozen for just half a second. And that half second was enough. He collapsed the pocket, forced the quarterback to roll out early, and turned what was supposed to be a deep passing play into a hurried throwaway. It didn't show up as a sack in the box score, but right there, the tone of the game had already shifted. 2 drives later came the moment fans are still replaying online. 3rd and long, obvious passing situation. The offense tried to chip him with a tight end before releasing into a route, a standard tactic used to slow elite pass rushers. Pearce Jr. anticipated it. Instead of charging straight upfield, he slowed his first step, absorbed the chip without losing balance, then accelerated with incredible burst around the corner. The tackle never recovered, the quarterback never had time to step up, and Pearce Jr. finished the play with a clean, emphatic sack that ignited the entire stadium. That wasn't just physical dominance, that was preparation, film study, and instinct working together. As the game progressed, you could see the offense adjusting again and again. They tried sliding protection toward him. They kept a running back into block. They even called quick-release passing plays designed to neutralize the pass rush. But what makes Pearce Jr. so dangerous is that he doesn't rely on a single approach. When the ball came out quickly, he switched to attacking throwing lanes, getting his hands up and forcing quarterbacks to alter their angles. When offenses ran toward the opposite side to avoid him, he chased plays down from the backside with relentless pursuit speed, turning what looked like safe gains into minimal yardage. One of the most impressive sequences came late in the second quarter. The offense attempted a misdirection run, pulling linemen away from Pearce Jr.'s side in hopes of catching the defense off balance. Instead, he read the blocking pattern instantly, cut across the formation, and met the running back near the line of scrimmage for a loss. That single play demonstrated something scouts always emphasize, but fans sometimes overlook: defensive intelligence. Elite defenders aren't just reacting. They are diagnosing in real time. By halftime, the stat line already looked impressive: multiple pressures, a sack, tackles for loss. But the real story was how the entire offensive strategy had changed. Routes were shorter. Play calling became more conservative. The quarterback began drifting in the pocket earlier than necessary, feeling pressure even when Pearce Jr. wasn't immediately there. That psychological effect is what separates good pass rushers from game wreckers. When an offense starts playing cautiously because of one defender, that defender is controlling the game. The third quarter brought another highlight moment that fans are still debating on social media. On a critical 3rd down, the offense attempted a screen pass, hoping to use Pearce Jr.'s aggressiveness against him. He recognized the setup instantly. Linemen releasing too easily, the running back delaying just slightly, and instead of charging forward blindly, he stopped, adjusted his angle, and leaped to deflect the pass at the line. That awareness completely shut down what could have been a big gain. It's plays like that which show how rapidly his football IQ is developing. Social media reactions during the game were explosive. Fans were posting clips of every pressure, every tackle, every near-miss sack, calling him unstoppable, a defensive nightmare, and even the most disruptive edge presence in the league right now. Analysts joined the conversation as well, pointing out how his get-off speed is forcing offensive tackles to start their pass sets earlier, which in turn opens up countermoves that Pearce Jr. is now using effectively. When commentators begin discussing how a player is changing technique across the league, you know something special is happening. Another major talking point is how teammates are benefiting from his rise, with offenses focusing extra blockers on his side. Interior defensive linemen are seeing more one-on-one opportunities. Linebackers are finding clearer blitz lanes, and the entire defensive unit is playing faster because quarterbacks are being rushed into quicker decisions. Great defenders don't just make plays themselves, they amplify everyone around them. That ripple effect is becoming one of the defining features of Pearce Jr.'s breakout run. Coaches, meanwhile, are praising not only his performance, but also his consistency. According to reports from the locker room, he has been one of the first players in the building each morning, spending extended time reviewing offensive tendencies, tackle footwork patterns, and snap count timing. That preparation is showing up on Sundays. The speed and power were always there. The refinement is what's turning him into a weekly headline. Looking at the numbers over the past stretch of games, the trend is clear. Rising pressure rates, increasing quarterback hits, and a steady climb in sack totals. But statistics alone don't capture the full story. The real impact lies in how offenses are altering their identity when facing his defense, calling more quick passes, keeping extra blockers in protection, and avoiding longer developing plays. That's strategic influence, and it's something only elite defenders achieve. Fans are already beginning to ask the big question, is this just a hot streak? Or are we witnessing the arrival of a long-term defensive superstar? If the current trajectory continues, the answer may come sooner than expected. His combination of athleticism, adaptability, and relentless effort suggests sustainability rather than randomness. Players who rely only on speed sometimes fade once opponents adjust, but players who win with technique, timing, and intelligence continue evolving, and Pearce Jr. is clearly moving in that direction. Another fascinating element is how younger defenders across the league are starting to study his tape, especially his use of hesitation steps and late-hand counters against tackles. Those subtle details, barely noticeable in real time, are becoming teaching points in film sessions. When a player's moves start appearing in coaching clinics and defensive training discussions, that's a sign of genuine influence. As the season moves forward, upcoming matchups will provide even bigger tests. Stronger offensive lines, veteran quarterbacks known for pocket awareness, and teams with complex protection schemes will all try to slow him down. But if the recent performances are any indication, those challenges may simply create new opportunities for Pearce Jr. to showcase the next stage of his development. New counters, new alignments, and perhaps even more creative ways defensive coordinators can deploy him across the front. Because what we are seeing right now isn't just a talented edge rusher putting together a few good games. We are watching the transformation of a defender who is beginning to dictate how entire offenses prepare, how games are called, and how opponents think before every snap. And the most exciting part is that this surge might only be the beginning.